Denise Richards was seen filming with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills stars Sutton Stracke and Erika Jayne. The three were having dinner, with cameras capturing her entrance and conversations about her ongoing divorce. Richards' husband, Aaron Fipers, filed for divorce on July 7 after 6 years of marriage, citing irreconcilable differences. According to court documents, Fipers reportedly asked for spousal support. Shortly after, Richards requested and was granted a protective order. Fans showed support for Denise Richards. The information included details of alleged incidents. It was added that she was afraid to report Fipers. Upon hearing this, fans immediately rushed to show Richards their support. "Thinking of you, bye girl," one fan posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, tagging Richards. "Poor Denise. I wish she could just find a calm but smoking hot man who would treat her like a queen," another fan wrote on a post by a Bravo fan account. Aaron Fipers released statement denying the allegations. Fipers released a statement following Richards' accusations, claiming he never physically or emotionally harmed Denise, or anyone else for that matter. He called the accusations false and deeply hurtful. He then interviewed with an outlet, where he said that a July 4 dispute arose when he claims he found certain text messages. He said he confronted Denise about the alleged affair, and ultimately they decided to stay together. That is, until a significant disagreement over the July 4th weekend prompted Fipers to file for divorce. Aaron says Denise texted his mom that weekend to say she was going to divorce him, so he decided to proceed with filing first. The chandeliers of the Ivy on Robertson Boulevard glittered, reflecting off the diamond-encrusted watches and perfectly coiffed hair of its elite clientele. Tonight, however, the usual hum of Los Angeles gossip was amplified by the presence of reality television cameras, swiveling and zooming, ready to capture every flick of an eyelash, every whispered aside. At a prime table, Denise Richards, her golden hair a halo around her striking features, sat poised between the sharp wit of Sutton Stracke and the enigmatic cool of Erika Jayne. The conversation, initially light and breezy, soon dipped into the deeper, more turbulent waters of Denise's life. The cameras, like silent, hungry beasts, seemed to lean in, capturing her every nuance. Her divorce, a raw wound, was the unspoken guest at their table. Aaron Fipers, her husband of 6 years, had filed for divorce on July 7th, citing irreconcilable differences. The news had sent ripples through the tabloids, but for Denise, it was a tsunami threatening to engulf her. Sutton, ever the empathetic friend, reached across the pristine tablecloth, her hand gently covering Denise's. "How are you truly doing, my love?" she asked, her voice softer than usual. Denise offered a fragile smile, "As well as can be expected, I suppose. It's a lot." The court documents the back and forth. She paused, her gaze drifting towards the flickering candlelight. "He's even asked for spousal support." A faint, almost imperceptible scoff escaped her lips. Erika, sipping her cocktail with an air of detached elegance, interjected, "That's always the kicker, isn't it? When they try to drain you dry after they've already taken everything else." Her voice, a low purr, held a hint of a shared understanding of public battles and private pain. Denise nodded, a shadow passing over her features. "I filed for a protective order," she confessed, her voice barely a whisper. The cameras, she knew, would pick up every syllable. The silence that followed was heavy, punctuated only by the clinking of cutlery from other tables. Sutton's eyes widened slightly, while Erika's expression remained unreadable, though a flicker of something akin to concern crossed her face. Outside the insulated bubble of the Ivy, the digital world was alight. News of Denise's struggles had spread like wildfire, fanned by the relentless breeze of social media. On X, formerly known as Twitter, the outpouring of support was immediate and fervent. "Thinking of you, bye girl," one fan posted, tagging Denise's official account, a simple yet powerful message of solidarity. Another user, responding to a Bravo fan account's update, wrote, "Poor Denise. I wish she could just find a calm but smoking hot man who would treat her like a queen." The sentiment, raw and earnest, resonated with thousands. Screenshots of the supportive tweets were already being shared, amplifying the narrative of a beloved star navigating a difficult personal crisis. The fans, often dismissed as mere spectators, had become her digital army, ready to champion her cause. They dissected every news article, every social media post, piecing together the fragments of her story. The information, often piecemeal and sensationalized, alluded to alleged incidents, painting a picture of distress. There were whispers, too, of Denise's fear, her alleged reluctance to come forward. The online community, however, was unequivocal in its backing. They saw a woman hurting, a woman in need of a collective embrace. Meanwhile, in a different corner of the digital sphere, Fipers was attempting to reclaim his narrative. He had released a statement, a carefully worded denial, aimed at the burgeoning wave of public sympathy for Denise. "I have never physically or emotionally harmed Denise, or anyone else for that matter," the statement read, his words echoing across entertainment news sites. He had called the accusations false and deeply hurtful, an attempt to douse the flames of public condemnation. But the internet, once it latches onto a story, rarely lets go. Fipers, in an effort to further his cause, had granted an interview with an outlet. In it, he presented his side of the story, claiming the July 4th dispute, the catalyst for the divorce filing, had stemmed from his discovery of certain text messages. He says he confronted Denise about the alleged affair, the article detailed, and ultimately, they decided to stay together, that is, until a significant disagreement over the July 4th weekend prompted Fipers to file for divorce. The article continued, offering Fipers' final, decisive justification for his actions. Aaron says Denise texted his mom that weekend to say she was going to divorce him, so he decided to proceed with filing first. The public, however, was less convinced by this counter-narrative. The carefully constructed image of Denise as a victim, bolstered by the tangible act of a protective order, had taken firm root. Fipers' statements, while an attempt to defend himself, often came across as defensive, lacking the raw emotional appeal that had garnered Denise so much support. The online discussions quickly pivoted to questions of motive, of timing, and of the fundamental power dynamics within relationships. Back at the Ivy, the dinner was winding down. The cameras had packed up, leaving behind a lingering sense of unreality. Denise, though outwardly composed, felt the weight of the evening settling upon her. The conversations, the confessions, the knowledge that her most private struggles were now public fodder, it was a heavy burden. Sutton, always attuned to the nuances of her friends, squeezed Denise's hand again. "You're stronger than you know, honey," she said, her voice full of genuine affection. "And you have so many people in your corner." Erica, usually stoic, offered a rare small smile. "She's right. The noise will eventually fade. What matters is what you do for you." As Denise left the restaurant, a small group of paparazzi, their flashes popping like distant fireworks, greeted her. She offered a tired smile, a practiced gesture, and slipped into the waiting car. Inside, in the cool darkness, she pulled out her phone. The notifications for X were still pouring in, a relentless stream of love and encouragement. She scrolled through them, her eyes lingering on the words of strangers who felt like friends. "Poor Denise. I wish she could just find a calm but smoking hot man who would treat her like a queen." The words, simple and heartfelt, brought a small, unexpected tear to her eye. It wasn't about finding a man, not really. It was about finding peace, about rebuilding, about standing tall in the face of adversity. The journey was long, and undoubtedly, there would be more public scrutiny, more statements, more online debates. But tonight, surrounded by the virtual embrace of her fans, Denise felt a flicker of hope. She wasn't alone, and that, in itself, was a powerful beginning. The legal battle would continue, a messy and public dance of accusations and denials. The media would feast on every development, every leaked document, every emotional outburst. But for Denise, the strength she found in the overwhelming support of her fans was a shield. It was a reminder that even in the most tumultuous storms, there were anchors, unexpected and strong, that could keep her from drifting too far. The story was far from over, but for the first time in a long time, Denise felt a glimmer of control over her own narrative, fueled by the unwavering belief of those who wished her well.